All right, people. Soccer Dad Pod.
Yo, yo, yo.
We're back. Out live on the street. Well, not live. You're listening to this recorded. We are live out on the street. Alive. As opposed to our... been calling it the Primate House. Jared nailed it. Studio. We're out of the studio here. We're back at our Mecca. Our favorite place. Our happy place. The Amsterdam Tavern down on Morganford Avenue, south of Arsenal. Zach, how's it going? Where you been?
It's good.
What you been doing? Summertime.
It's summertime.
How's your tan?
Tan is good. Got a little burnt on the beach on Sunday. Took the family to Myrtle Beach on Friday and Saturday, and then up to Wilmington, North Carolina, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then flew back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I had to do a PSA.
Have to do one now, or you did one there?
Doing one now. Don't go to Myrtle Beach.
That's pretty strong words. Good thing the South Carolina Tourism Bureau
they're not
sponsoring the show.
It's gross. It's yucky. There's the boardwalk in Myrtle Beach. I use the term lightly because it's technically a boardwalk because it's a walk made of boards. There are about 30 stores. 20 of them are souvenir shops. 5 of them are henna tattoo shops. 3 of them are burger places and ice cream places, and the other 2 you can get your hair braided. And in between those shops
henna tattoos.
In between those shops are Ripley's Believe It or Not attractions. And then you walk 50 feet towards the ocean, and then you got a beach full of a lot of people.
Yeah,
and it's gross.
Well, we've been around each other long enough to know that I've figured out my PSA for anybody encountering Zach. Just know he doesn't like humans. So therefore, this review of Myrtle Beach.
But to contrast that, Wrightsville Beach, just outside of Wilmington, was gorgeous.
Well, let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
If somebody's considering the Carolinas coast,
Yep.
What's the pros and cons of Wrightsville over Myrtle Beach? Because everybody knows Myrtle Beach.
Beach,
maybe that's the problem.
Myrtle Beach is an easy destination if you're a Southwest person because it flies right into Myrtle. If you're going to Wilmington, a la Wrightsville Beach or Carolina Beach, a little bit harder to get to.
Well, that's usually the case, right? The logistics of it all.
But Wilmington has an airport, and you can fly in there from Delta United or American.
My pale ass as well went to the beach.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know you were going to go to Carolina. You probably didn't know I was going to go to Mexico.
I did not know until I saw your pictures on Facebook that you were in Mexico.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had heard they were going to become the next state, so I wanted to go check it out, see what...
Before it just became America, like the Gulf of Mexico became the Gulf of America?
Yeah. Oh, my God. The locals down there. Like, if you... Okay. I'll save this for my other podcast.
Yeah.
Go check out Tell Me You're Joking. There's a breakdown of U.S.-Mexican relations, because we were down there, just family vacation, right?
Yeah,
Get away,
same.
little resort. We went fishing, me and Max.
Yeah, so that.
Hammered it.
Big old fantail? No.
Sailfish.
Sailfish. It's impressive.
Trophy.
Yeah.
Trophy. You guys should go check it out.
You guys should have kept that and then stuffed it and put it up here in Amsterdam.
It's so fucking funny. I literally was like, how cool would this be at Amsterdam?
Yes.
Like,
I honestly thought
I don't really have
I saw him reeling it in.
I don't have a jersey they would ever want. What do they want? My ODP jersey, whatever. Hang it next to Brad Guzan's. No. I'll bring them a sailfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but we were down there, and Gold Cup final was while we were there, too. So we sat in the sports bar at the resort watching U.S.-Mexico. That was awkward.
Ew.
Nobody was buying me drinks, put it that way.
That's weird.
Not even a draft Modelo. That was free because it was all inclusive. I mean, they could have at least brought one over and said, sorry, losers, here's beer on your tab.
Or an Exotico or some sort of nice tequila shot.
Crazy.
No, but Wilmington was great. We went to visit campus and show the other 2 kids where Grady's going to be spending the next 4 years, and got to hang out with some of the coaches again. And He got to train just on his own with some folks there, and it was a great trip. And Wilmington, I had not been in their downtown area. Amazing. It's one of the few cities in the South that were not torched during the Civil War, so they still have really old buildings and homes, and it was really cool. I highly recommend that.
Penny pictures?
Maybe go down the Raleigh way if you're taking Southwest, or direct, not through.
There you go,
Myrtle.
Well, maybe we work with the North Carolina Tourism
I
Bureau.
would rather do that. Now, Kiowa Island, a little bit further south. Hey. It's fine, but not Myrtle.
All right, real quick, thank you. Flywheel Systems, Flywheel Dot Systems.
Well, I've got a good one.
We've I've told you before. Look, you got a building, you got a place. If you have internet, whether it's public Wi-Fi, private Wi-Fi, anybody around that is on their phones doing what everybody does every minute of the day, hit up Flywheel.systems. They'll check it out. If it all makes sense, installation's free, and then you get paid. I can't give you the exact numbers, but I can tell you definitively I'm getting paid for people to be on their Wi-Fi anywhere near a building that I give all my money to the bank for.
Yep.
Anyway, Flywheel System points of the day. A lot of things going on in the world of sport et al. What do you got?
So just a big shout out to some families and kids that we've grown up watching and getting to know and friends with. Last night, which was July 16th, the semi-pro debut of our own Timothy Clancy III, a.k.a. Trip, and our own Stone Marion for getting on the pitch with City 2 last night. Also Emiliano Chavez, and Lorenzo, who's been playing. I mean, they've been playing for a little bit longer, but to see Trip and Stone, get that opportunity and win the game, it's pretty exciting. So kudos to those guys, those boys, for working hard and staying with it and getting on the pitch for City 2 last night.
Yeah, Stone's a little baller. He's the athlete that kind of came out of nowhere a couple years ago.
Yep.
that I saw him in the STLDA days. The other three Gallagher products. Congratulations. Ken Godad, I saw him the other day, and he feels like a proud papa. Everybody passing through the pipeline. Yeah. My point of the day is I'm going to go back to U.S. soccer, and I want to talk about one person in particular, Gio Reyna, because he has failed to launch, for lack of a better term.
Yep.
A couple of times last World Cup, or no, the tournament 2 years ago. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
His minutes, when he got in, he did some super special stuff.
Yep.
And he even has a highlight reel from Dortmund that is special stuff. But he hasn't found a way to get the minutes. And as we've always talked about, really at every freaking level, but the top players for the national team at their level in particular, play. Go where you're going to play.
Yeah.
Goes back to the Pulisic days at Chelsea.
Yep.
Look, I'm a Chelsea guy, but I wanted him to go elsewhere to get more minutes for the sake of the national team. Gio's not getting it. Now, the rumors are he's back domestic bound. A handful of MLS teams have him, or the rumors are that they've contacted. One of them is yours and mine own STL City SC.
Huh. Well, that would be quite interesting. So that would be the biggest get we've ever had, for sure.
I don't really have a point about that. I just was looking for a guttural reaction to the potential of putting a Gio Reyna in the middle of the field for our team.
Yeah, and I'd be fine with that. I am not a huge, and you know this, we can roll the tape back. I am not a Reyna fan. I think he does some special things, but I think there's some off the field things that are keeping him from the minutes.
His mom.
Maybe, but I mean, the fact that all the drama that came out around the World Cup was all centered around him and his playing time or not playing time, and it was related to his parents' involvement, and I can't imagine that that's an isolated incident, right? And if he's not playing in Dortmund, but he's good enough, there's something off there. So if he's coming over to the MLS, I hope he's eating a lot of humble pie on the way over, because he's going to need it. And yes, he'll be the best 10 that we have at that, at that position. But on the U.S. team, Malik Tillman was way better than Gio. I think. I thought from his Gold Cup performance, he's going to be playing a lot in Europe. I think he's a better, more solid, more athletic grinder than Gio.
Well, let me ask you this. Because you look around the league, take Miami out of the equation because what they're doing down there is just, it's kind of getting...
the cosmos.
It's getting gaudy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even, like, they've jumped the shark.
Yeah, they're the New York Cosmos of the 70s.
Yeah. But when you look at the rest of the league, the other 29 teams or whatever, when you think of Gio Reyna potentially coming in, name a better 10.
I think Ricky Puig might have a spot there, but there are others. But again, I think got to prove it. He's got to prove it because he hasn't done it in the Bundesliga, in my opinion. Yes, he's got some highlights, but you and I both know players who have really great highlight reels, but you would never take them on your team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I would be very excited to see him in a City kit, but he'd have to.
Yeah, I'm with you. Last thing I want to point out before we take a quick break, and then we're going to get our guest on here down at the Amsterdam Tavern, which we're recording this on a Thursday. What 4:35ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Soccer's on. Imagine that. Great place.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's what I want to talk about. August 7th.
Oh, yeah.
We are not only going live, we're going live in person. We have an event. If you're listening to this, and if you're listening to this after August 7th, you really should subscribe to the pod so you get these notices earlier. We're going to be the three of us are going to be on a panel. We've hit the Rolodex. We've called some special guests. We're going to be panel format out at Soccer Park in Fenton, 6 to 8 o'clock. We're loosely calling this College Pathway Live. So for those of you that are in the St. Louis marketplace, go on our Facebook page. We've got an event there. We're really kind of trying to limit the RSVPs because the room is limited. But we will have a panel of coaches joining us that includes SLU, Washington University, SIUE, UMSL, men's and women's programs on both sides. We're going to have college kind of placement reps from the club joining us as well. And we're going to be talking about our experience, your own experience with Grady, mine and Jared's with Beckett and Drew, what we've seen, what works, the preparation. And then, frankly, we're going to be putting all the dirty laundry secrets and questions out in the air. So parents that are wondering, how do I get my kid to the next level if they want to play at the next level, which that's probably question number one. We're going to be asking all those questions. So, again, Thursday, August 7th, Soccer Park, Fenton, Mo, 6 to 8 p.m. First one's free. We're not going to charge anybody for this. The grill will be open, so you can order beer to stomach us in person.
And some pretzel bites.
Pretzel bites.
In fact, if you want to bring me some pretzel bites.
Yeah. Your question will be moved to the top.
Yeah.
Q&A, bring your questions. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to learn a lot, and we'll get you in and out of there so you can go home and have dinner afterwards. So we're going to take a quick break here. We're, like I said, it's Amsterdam Tavern. I'm playing a little Oasis in honor of the fact that they're on tour, and they have not broke up yet.
That's amazing.
Like, the tour is still going on. I think it's like 8 or 9 in, so it's a long ways to go. We'll see if those brothers destroy each other. Yeah. Cigarettes and alcohol by Oasis, kind of appropriate. I mean, cigarettes used to be in bars, but not anymore, so it's a throwback song.
Only in St. Charles.
Yeah. Soccer Dad Pod. Give us a like, review, follow, share. Appreciate it. We'll catch you on the flip side, talking all things between the bars on the pitch. See you in a second. All right, we're back. Soccer Dad Pod, live from Amsterdam Tavern. You heard me say that just a second ago, but I'm going to say it again. Subliminally going to bury it into your head because you got to bring your family down here. It's a family-friendly place.
It is. Unless it's a Tottenham game. and then
Oh my God! Then
leave your kids at
yeah, I
home.
mean, you would. I would prefer. I would prefer to watch a game in prison as opposed to Amsterdam if Tottenham's on.
As long as you're wearing Tottenham gear, and then you're fine. It's any other team, especially Chelsea. You're not going to walk away here without.
Did you notice I didn't bring up Chelsea either?
Listen, I was going to say something. So right now we're watching the quarterfinals in the Euro Women's Championship, and it's a PKs at the end of the game. England versus Sweden. And our guest is a goalie and a goalie coach, and I can't even imagine what you're going through watching these amazing athletes go through what they're going through in this quarterfinal. So let's just start there, and then I'm going to come back to the Chelsea thing because I've got some thoughts on it. But
yeah, you've read your dashboard. Jason Norsic, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome to the show.
Go ahead, tee it up. Get this out of the way.
This is cool because we talked about in the intro about our college pathway event coming up in a couple weeks, and we've had a lot of folks that have joined the show that are coaches, former coaches in the college ranks, and we've got one from our local backyard. And so, Jason, I would love for you to just kind of give us the lay of the land of where you're at right now, and then if you want to go back a little about your youth career and that kind of thing, just to kind of, as JB usually says, put a pin in the map so people kind of have an idea of who you are and where you came from. And this is somewhat of a St. Louis show, so where you went to high school, et cetera, is valuable information that we'd like to use to judge everybody. So go ahead.
All right, so right now I'm the head women's coach at Harris Stowe State University right downtown. I love it there. This will be my second year. I took over last year, so the process has been great. I'm learning a ton of things, so talking to as many people as I can, learning the same processes that I think that you're talking about at that October or August 7th event. Like, I'm getting through the weeds of that as well, and there's just so much out there for that. But grew up in Troy, Illinois. Went to Triad.
Ooh, East Sider.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, started my college career at SWIC, BAC. I was in that transition period
Was
of
it
1998.
Larry Petri?
Larry Petri, yeah.
Lair. Dude, that's how small this world is. He grew up down the street from my mom. And he had a diner in
Granite City boy. As far as I know, that diner's still around.
Yeah, Larry.
Well, and
that's a great name. That's somebody I should have on here.
You should.
Because that dude was at BAC/SWIC for
Long time.
decades.
Long time.
Sorry, I totally hijacked.
He was great to be around and talk to. A lot of knowledge.
He called me Barney.
We had Lindsay Eversmeyer, friend of the show, is now the current head coach at SWIC. So that's just the world does shrink when we start talking about soccer.
I got to play with Lindsay Steamers, and then I coached with her at Fire and Ice in her academy when she had that. I was her goalie coach for a couple of years there.
Very
so
nice.
SWIC then McKendree?
SWIC then McKendree for a year. So technically I have a year left of eligibility. So I might get back into it now that I know more about.
Well, I mean, the portal is open to anybody. So
Yeah.
that would be great. Actually, let's start a reality TV show, Jason's Return.
I'm ready.
This is crazy. So, oh my gosh. The final penalty for Sweden was taken by their goalie, and she missed.
Which would have sent them to the
Would have sent them on to the finals. And she missed high. So we keep going on, and I know that people that are listening like yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But
So McKendree, let's get.
So, I mean, this makes me excited. I play. So after McKendree, I was playing a part of the Latino American Soccer League down on 22nd and Carr. Played there for 10, 12 years. We played on a traveling Kenyan team. And so I've been involved in a lot of these tournaments where it's these PK experiences, and it's watching these, wondering why they're not scoring is
there's a lot of saves today on this.
Yeah,
this
so if you are listening and you have a little one and you want to teach the little one how not to take penalty shots, go to YouTube and watch Sweden-England women quarterfinals.
Yeah, run the tape on that one.
So you jump over to McKendree. Were you a goalie the whole time through your college career?
Yeah, goalie the whole time. Played goalie since third grade, so that was kind of in my DNA of why I wanted to be a goalie and what made me be a goalie.
That's interesting because we've had a lot of goalies on, and they run the gambit of like kind of crazy to super full-on crazy, but a lot of them didn't start playing goalie until later in their soccer career, meaning they were a field player for a long time, and then the goalie got hurt and they got put in, and it just kind of happened from there. How did you in third grade at like 8 or 9 years old go, that's what I want to do? Because most kids are like, nope. so how did that happen?
I was kind of the opposite, right? So I was on the field running around, getting yelled at by my parents, getting yelled at by the coach about being here, being there, not knowing what to do. Second half comes along. They ask me, who wants to play goalie? And I'm like, well, I'm tired of being yelled at, so I guess I'll play goalie. I go in goal. I don't have to run anywhere, which was great. First of all, that was the main thing. I make a save, and everybody's cheering for me. I was like, I didn't do anything. The ball just came to me. I made a save. Everybody's cheering for me. Goal goes in. Everybody says it's okay. I'm not getting yelled at for letting the goal go in. Everybody's telling me it's okay to be, that to happen. PK, save the PK because at that age the ball's running like 2 miles per hour, and all you got to do is like hop in the way. And everybody cheers for me and tell me what a great game it was. I was like, I don't know what I did, but that's how I became. And I was like, I don't have to run. I don't get yelled at. The coach and everybody's okay with me after the game.
Were you a multi-sport athlete? Because that's another kind of historically like a common denominator for a lot of goalies. Was it
baseball?
Really?
Yeah, just baseball, and same thing as I was always getting told. Like,
what about from we're going to jump around just a little bit from a coaching perspective, though, with goalies in particular. PK or TK.
TK. Yeah.
TK always talks about like with the goalies that he's had, and he's had some bangers come through the pipes.
Yeah.
The ones that were multi-sport, specifically basketball, is the sport that seems to have the greatest correlation to
hand-eye coordination,
right?
Distance. Stuff.
In your experience as you're training all these goalies over the year, and we'll get into that. Do you see a correlation between the multi-sport kids, specifically with basketball, or really anything in general?
Well, yeah, just that work ethic. Knowing what matters is something that's important because as a goalie, if you let one in, it matters. It could be the game, couldn't be the game. But having basketball players with that hand-eye coordination, the sprinting, the side-to-side stuff, how to move your body in certain ways that isn't traditional, those athletes tend to be more like going towards goalies. I coached at Principia, which is a smaller university, so they sort of grabbed who they could get, and I did have mostly goalies that were like, hey, can you do this? Volleyball players, basketball players, and they fit in pretty well with what I was trying to do.
And Principia, we like to call it Hogwarts.
Right.
That campus is beautiful.
It's gorgeous, and up there in Afton or Grafton, or in between.
It's kind of in Middle Earth up there.
So like right after Alton.
But that's a gorgeous campus. Our boys would go there for summer camp for City Academy in August, and they'd always walk around thinking they were in the Harry Potter movies, the old Baroque, architecture and things like that. But so that's cool. How did you decide? I mean, I know you had a decently long semi-pro career, post college. When did you say, what, I think I can give back here, and I want to get into your personal training stuff too, your private trainings and things. Did the private training start and that morphed into coaching at a team level, or how did that all shake out?
So really, after SWIC, Petri wanted me to be a coach.
Okay.
And specifically with the goalkeepers at that point. So 2002 is when I started coaching goalies. So it really started at that point. And then between there, finishing up my college career at McKendree, then I went with the Steamers after that. And then I started my goalkeeper coaching individual program in 2008.
Okay.
From whenever I was young, I didn't have a coach. So a lot of it was self-taught, like just learning how it went. And so when I first started, it was about, teaching those kids who never knew what to do, who couldn't afford it either. So we couldn't afford it growing up. So I gave an outlet for those parents who couldn't afford any goalkeeper training or, affordable, to be in a spot where, hey, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He really thinks through what he's doing. He really understands the position. That made me want to do it more.
Got it.
So post McKendree, you mentioned a second ago, you had a pro career. Was that the goal? I mean, all athletes to a degree are like, I want to play pro sports.
Yeah.
Going through the path that you were on, was pro your target, or was it kind of a byproduct, or what was that transition like? And talk a little bit about the playing days.
I mean, it was probably just a byproduct of wanting to be better, know more, keep learning, like being involved, seeing other people ahead of me and seeing what they're doing, wanting to be like them, be a part of it. Again, not having that past. Like my parents, they didn't play soccer, they didn't play many sports, so I kept learning along the lines, and having friends who played made a big difference. To me, playing pro was like, hey, I think I can do this. I know I can do this. Pushing myself, because I didn't feel like I had that push in the past. So it was like more to prove to myself that if I put my mind to this, I'm going to do it. And I was fortunate enough to continue on and to do those things.
Was there anybody at that time, maybe not in third grade when you first, stood in between the posts, but later on in high school and into college, were there any kind of standards that you're like, I want to be like that guy?
Why was it Slobo?
Well,
that's what it was.
We're going to get, I kind of figured that's where this is going, but yeah, so talk about that. I mean, who were your role models? Why was it Slobo, and were there others as well?
I mean, so growing up, no soccer in St. Louis. I didn't have a family that knew much about soccer, so we didn't have it on TV, didn't know much about it. So going to the games was, ambush back in the days, the storm back in the days, and Slobo was one of those people around that I was able to latch onto as a goalie, and that's the only professional goalie I would have ever known. So, I mean, that's kind of why that happened. And it seemed like he always took the time to sign autographs, and he was just that personable person that you can hang out with. And that really stood out to me as a young kid.
Very cool. So did you have other mentors, on the coaching side that you also, once you kind of got out of the playing days, were there coaches or were there groups that you kind of aspired or that mentored you on the coaching side? Or because it sounds like, Jason, I mean, you're a little, this is not an offensive thing to say, you're outside of the norm a little bit for a lot of the guys that we've had on who kind of had a path, not predetermined, but they knew kind of the goalie coaches and the goalie guys, and they kind of fostered that arc, right? Mm-hmm. You were kind of outside of that on your own, building up your own abilities and training. So how did you pattern your coaching off? Who helped you there?
I mean, I always think about, I'm a lifelong learner. I want to reach out, and I want to meet anybody I can to learn from them. And that's kind of the pathway was, what could I do to figure it out? Petri was a very good help in starting that career for me, telling me this is what you need to do, this is how you need to help them. And then when I got into the Steamers, Swanner came by, and he started his semi-pro league over there on the Illinois side in Glen Carbon. And he was huge in what I wanted to try to create and kind of do, just his personality, what he talked about, how he talked to people, how he tried to lift up everybody that was around him to make them feel like they were wanted or they were a part of a group. So I'd say Jamie Swanner would have been a big help in that.
Got it. Okay.
So you quickly transition into being an assistant coach while you're still playing, and you've got a lot of schools on the resume. Mm-hmm. Did you want to bounce around a little bit? I'm not asking if you got fired a lot. I'm asking because it's a lot of different levels. It's a lot of different, divisions, men's, women's, kind of all over the board, including high school. Was it kind of part of your own mantra that, always wanting to learn, so you were doing all these different things, and maybe it was just a good fit at that time? It wasn't necessarily about vertical mobility, or lateral moves. Talk a little bit about all the different schools and the why, maybe.
Right. So for me, it was still continuing my education. So after McKendree, I still needed to get my bachelor's degree, and so I went to SIUE after that to finish my bachelor's, and it was in psychology. So the pathway of being a coach was kind of what I did. It made me some money. It helped out with trying to pay for things. But it was never really, I want to be, a head coach somewhere. It was just something I thought I was good at, and it felt right for me. But I know I still needed my education. So after getting my bachelor's what was the next step? Well, get your master's degree. So I got my master's in counseling. And from there, I was still doing the assistant coaching, and it just kind of wherever I could do it, whoever paid me, was part of that. Like as an assistant coach and even a head coach, sometimes, the money's not always there.
Right.
But when I went back to McKendree for my master's program, Fontbonne, they had a career counseling place where I did my internship. And then the coach there hired me on as an assistant at Fontbonne. So I was able to kind of get back to the college level at that point because I was doing high school before that, and Principia high school and college before that. But that really kind of solidified, well, what do I want to do from this? Career counseling was something I got into after I finished my degree, but I always still wanted that connection with players, with people.
Sure.
And my counseling was more of like a listen type of a thing, where career counseling and coaching put you with that person.
Yep.
Well, let's take a second and do a little bit of a traditional focus here on the show, and that is evaluating player talent, etc. And I'm kind of listening to you talk a little bit about your academic side of your life, specifically in psychology, and then obviously you were a keeper. We all know keepers are batshit crazy, and the third leg of this stool is you're a coach, for a long, long time. Can you talk a little bit about what you look for in keepers that are kind of that it factor? A balance between maybe physical attributes, or let's lean into your sweet spot, the mental side. What are some of the things that you look for, or that you have seen in goalies, whether you're scouting or that's on a roster or you're playing against, that stand out to you as elevated traits for keepers mentally and or physically?
I mean, back in the day, I think the batshit crazy, the goalie that would just run out and just do all these things was at top, right? But to me, what I was always trying to teach my parents and their kids is there's so much more to the goalkeeping now. They got to be the smartest on the field. They got to be the best on the field. It's not just the craziest who can kick the ball the furthest. There's so much more now that I think is with a goalie, that I don't just look for the goalie that can just launch the ball or who's the loudest on the field. I try to see how they react to their other players who they're telling what to do and how they're doing it, not just what they're doing. Are they doing it for a specific reason, or are they just yelling because they're a little crazy and they just need to get that out? So it's really that mental part that I'm looking for in my goalies.
So this is where my big question is going to come in. I've been waiting for you to tee this up for me. So using that methodology, if you're Maurizio Pochettino, are you a Turner guy or are you a Freeze guy?
Or screw them both and go with our boy from SLU.
Well, yeah,
I'm going local.
Schulte.
Yeah.
We're
you going to go Schulte?
Yeah.
Is that you're out, or let's say you don't have Schulte as an option?
Sorry, get back to the technical part of the answer.
Yeah. If you don't have Schulte, which obviously we'd all choose.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you've just got Freeze and you got Turner. You're the coach. Who are you picking?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's hard.
Well, I can promise you will not lose your job by answering.
Nope.
So feel free to name a name.
And I'm pretty sure that Matt Turner doesn't listen, nor does Freeze. But
you never
maybe
know.
Pochettino does, so this could be influential.
Poch does, because he heard me bashing all the Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's go Turner.
Okay. All right. And that's because from what your criteria, the intelligence and the command that you think he's got a little bit more of that than Matt Freese?
I mean, they're both good, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like to choose from them two, the head coach, he's got a big decision, but it's really on like how the rest of the team reacts to that, right? Like you can have a great goalie, but if the rest of the team feels let down or feels like I'm just getting yelled at, like that's not helping the group. So it really depends on what you put on the field, which goalies is going to perform the best.
Where and why do you think? Where and why do you think we've had the fall off? Because I mean, let's just be honest. You go back to my childhood, and you're a little bit younger than me. You start off with Miola, and then you have Keller, and then you have Guzan, and you have Howard, and a long list of goalies that have come out of the U.S. system that are literally global standouts. We're not there right now. We're not even close. The few who is coming into camp are good keepers, but they are not standing on shoulders the way that the names that I just mentioned. And theoretically, these new batch of keepers have come up in a system that is supposed to be better on paper, better practically, technically, etc. But it's not. It's not resonating. The psych guy in yourself. When you look at that, what do you think's going on? Because I don't understand it, and I don't. Typically, I like try and
prognosticate.
Thank you. More Tully. and I don't know why it's not happening.
So we'll just go. It's the field players.
Typical goalie. Gonna blame
the goalies are there. We have no issues with the goalies. But again, like, was it the field players that didn't perform for them and they had to stand out, or do we have better field players now and that aren't letting them stand out as much?
That's a good point. Because
I'm going to push back as a lifelong nine. You know what my biggest pet peeve ever is about keepers? Whenever somebody takes a shot, the opposing team takes a shot from, let's say, 35 yards out, right? And it takes 17 seconds for the ball to get there, and the goalie stops it and then turns around and yells at his whole team for not blocking the shot.
But I think
that's the keepers where you're talking about the yellers, the talkers.
Yeah.
Like, it's gone too far.
No, but I think Jason made a really good point in that, we've had those goalies because we had to. We had to have those big shot stoppers and commander type because we didn't have the quality in front of them to keep them out of the limelight. That's why they all went and played in Europe. Now,
I think he's going the reverse.
No,
I'm there.
That's what he was saying. He said it could be the other way, but you had said that on paper we're supposed to be pretty good. Well, all of our field players on the big U.S. national team, Team A, are playing in Europe. They're playing at top quality clubs, unlike 10 years ago. So the only difference is our goalies are not. I mean, Matt Turner might be playing at Wrexham next year. So it's going to be interesting to see. But I think, it was a teaser question, Jason, because I thought they both did good. I thought Matt Freese did really well in the shootout. And he had a couple of mistakes, but not a lot. I mean, they were good.
Well, I tell you what, let's do this. You said you were going to go with Turner. We'll go around the table here. Freese or Turner, you say Turner, but I want to add a second part to it. Give me one reason why you would go with Turner.
From what I've seen in him, the way he commands the back line and what he does back there, to me, he just stands out that way.
Freese or Turner?
I'd go with Freese just because I feel like he's got the confidence coming in to camp after the Gold Cup. But I wouldn't be upset if it was Turner either. Freese made a couple feet mistakes, meaning the ball was passed back to him. He couldn't get off his feet in time or in a good spot. Turner makes more decisions like that from a save perspective, I feel like, especially in the air.
Mm-hmm. See, I would go with Freese because I like the X factor. I like how he's a little bit more batshit. Just his demeanor, and he's a shot stopper.
He is.
So none of us know what we're talking about. It's based on what this comes down to.
I think Jason's point is spot on in that I don't think Freese or Turner is going to be the reason we lose or win in the group stage. It's going to be on the field.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, we're
gotta
gonna take a quick break. We're gonna get some refills. Quick shout out to Urban Chestnut. Zwickle Lights it is today. Go check it out. Pick up a case from Costco before you head on your float trip. Quick break. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Soccer Dad Pod, second half. Live from Amsterdam Tavern.
What is this song?
This song is in honor of a little side hustle we have in my house, which is television. It's called Country House, and it's in honor of Jeremy Clarkson. You know who Jeremy Clarkson is?
He's a English car guy. Yeah, I don't watch that show, but I know who he is.
Well, you know Maxwell.
Oh,
right? My Max.
He's a car guy. Have you been to the art museum yet?
Yes, we did that.
Okay.
Pretty cool. You know. Well, speaking of cars and Max, he's in a Rankin Tech summer camp right now, which they built. They literally all of it: frame, chassis, tires, brakes, everything. Built go-karts, designed, painted them, and then tomorrow is the race day.
Whoa.
Yeah. Super cool.
That's awesome.
But anyway, I'm playing Country House by Blur in honor of the country because this is one of those PSAs. See, when people listen to the show, we give them little insights into pop culture that they get to inject into their lives.
Yeah, sure.
And they're better off for it. Remember The Great?
Yeah.
Jared thought I was crazy. And what's Jared's favorite show of all time at this point?
It's his show. It's still not one of mine.
Well, you'll learn someday.
No, I got to go back to something. So, congratulations to Chelsea for winning the Club World Cup.
Well, hold on, real quick. This was the PSA. Country House, Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah.
If you have Amazon Prime, if you got any, watch Clarkson's Farm.
Clarkson's Farm. Okay.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It is the funniest freaking thing you will ever watch because here's this car guy who's super wealthy off of television and everything. He legitimately buys a Cotswold farm, big farm.
Wow.
And runs it. And it's all like, it's legit. You sit there, Max is laughing his ass off, I'm laughing my ass off. Kim we know it's good when Mom approves.
Yeah, if Kim's in, I might have to check it out.
Yeah, Clarkson's Farm, there you go, PSA of the day, you're welcome. Just do me a favor, drop a review on our podcast.
Yes, please. So moving back to my point, I
Chelsea.
Giving Chelsea credit because PSG blanked AC Milan 5-0 in the Champions League final. Then they destroy Inter Miami 4-0 at half.
Yeah,
and then kind of slowed things down. They could have beaten Inter Miami 15-0, and then they beat one other team.
You know why they turned off the Jets? Because the game was in America, right?
Yeah,
they heard that ICE was on its way.
Oh my God!
Yeah, did I say that out loud?
You did.
Oh, okay.
But then Chelsea goes in and has a clean sheet against them, and that was crazy to me. And
here's what I love about it. Thank you for bringing up my Chelsea.
You know how bad that hurts me.
Yes, but you are aware. We are all self-aware of the quality of teams. PSG had their A team in.
Yep.
They were missing one player off of that Champions League final.
Yep.
In that game, Chelsea had its core and a few new players, and they went toe to toe. That was a heavyweight bout.
Yep.
And Chelsea made them look stupid.
They did, and it was crazy. But one other story before we get into, we're going to talk more recruitment with Jason.
Well, let's just ask him real quick. Who's your team?
Oh yeah, do you have one?
Not necessarily.
That's okay.
I mean, like I said, growing up, we didn't have soccer around,
sure.
So I've just watched everything I can. So with the Mexican guys that I went with, the Kenyan guys, I just was like surrounded by like this new like excitement for soccer. So I really never went with anybody because I was always around different people. So like I really don't have a team.
Keepers from that age, typically they'll say Oliver Kahn because of Bayern Munich and Soccer Made in Germany.
Yeah,
that's usually where they
that makes sense.
Where they land.
A really quick story. So I said we went to Wilmington, University of North Carolina, Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
Started talking to the coaches, and something came up. And during this whole process of recruitment, I never mentioned our show. because I didn't want.
You didn't want them to resend.
I didn't want them to listen to something that I said and have that be a negative impact on Grady's chances of getting in. But now that he's got his offer and he's committed, I said something about it. And as we were talking, I was talking about some of the folks we'd interviewed, tangential relationships with the coaches that were in front of me. And I said, you guys got to check it out. And I was like, Grady gets super embarrassed when I talk about it. And he's like, no, I don't get embarrassed about the show. I get embarrassed when you start talking in your podcast voice.
You have a podcast voice?
That's what I said. I said, I have a podcast voice? And him and all three of my other two kids and my wife all looked at me and go, yes, you have a podcast voice. And I did not know that I did. I thought I was just talking like I normally talk.
Which voice do they like better?
I don't think they like the podcast voice, apparently. Well, feedback.
Let's see what they say after today's episode, because I've given you a new mic.
It's true.
And I know, and I commented.
Maybe it's the mic. Maybe it's the podcast mic, not my voice.
Could be.
Oh. Anyway.
Maybe they just like, it's like shell shock. It's like PTSD. They just hear the voice and they immediately like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Wait, your family listens to what you do? They care about?
No. I think my wife has listened to maybe 2 or 3 episodes. My oldest and my youngest have probably never listened other than what I've made them listen to. Grady's probably listened to the one that he's been on, and maybe if we were interviewing somebody that he really cared about.
Well, I mean, that's a great transition because the boys have been on twice. Mm-hmm. All 3 once a while ago, over a year ago. Then we were in Baltimore. And we had Grady and Drew on, which is Jared's son. And we were specifically talking about asking them how they're handling, what they do, what they fear, what they want out of the recruiting process. Yep. And it was really like, if you're listening, go back and check it out. And we'll, whatever, just you'll see it. Baltimore is in the title. I can't remember what number it is. But anyway, to the point, and I wanted to bring you and Jason into what we were talking about off mic, and that is the recruiting process. Because that episode, listening to the boys talk, they were really kind of surprisingly self-aware. Mm-hmm. Because they'd been through a cycle with teams and, being cut and what the new team was doing and ups and downs. But they were, when you talk to most kids that are playing at high levels, they all think they're going to ACC. They all think they're going to be 2 years and out and go pro. But there's a process in managing the expectation. And so we were talking about it off mic, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on when you hear that we're going to do a live and we're going to literally be opening it up to the people. When you think of the recruiting process for the player, not the parents, for the player, what would you advise kids to think about or to take notes on or to kind of keep in check as they start to approach the recruiting process?
I mean, it's to be real with yourselves. I mean, again, it's going back to my background in psychology and stuff. Is you want to put yourself in the best position to be great, and whether that's playing soccer or you're going to a university to study as well. So you got to make sure that soccer may be there for you for a while, and you may keep playing, but it's not everything. And you want to be happy, right? If you're happy with soccer, you need to be happy with your life. If you want to be happy with your life, you got to be happy with soccer. So if you put yourself in a position of, I'm going to this school for a specific reason, make sure it's for the right reasons, that's for you, and not just because they're number one, but because you're going to succeed there, or they have the right program that you want to be a part of, because that's just going to filter in for the rest of your life. Sure. And going to practice, it's going to make you want to be there, and that's going to filter into your schooling, and that you're going to go to classes, and it's going to make you want to be better.
I mean, that's a great answer, because I think where the changes have happened around, the NCAA versus the House and all those restrictions are affecting mostly D1. But how... I'm trying to think of how to phrase this question. Because...
Carefully.
Well, yeah. Your role at Harris Stowe as the head women's coach is different than Derek Burton's at SIUE, SIUE Edwardsville. And so explain, as delicately as you can, like how there is a difference between kids that are looking at Harris Stowe as an academic destination that has soccer, or Harris Stowe as a soccer destination that has academics. How do you kind of help them navigate
where's
that process?
Where's the sweet spot?
Yeah.
For me, the girls that I bring on, I want them to have a great experience.
Yep.
Right. I want them to be a part of a program that is willing to like do what we can to win and be great, and whether it's on the pitch or in education. So it's really just a balance of both. Knowing that hey, you're not coming here because you're pro's probably the next step. Well, who knows? Maybe we win a championship and you get seen differently. But be real with yourself too. Like, if you were going to go pro, you would probably be going to a D1 program, to be honest, right? Like, you would be at that point. You would have somebody recruiting you already. So know that you're coming here to be great in soccer, but also academically. Like, be real with yourself, knowing that you have to have both, and we require that you have a good GPA as well.
So let me ask you just a kind of a landscape question, because as you're talking about individuals being realistic about their end game, specifically that kid that wants to be a pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's two camps of players that want to be a pro and have that opportunity. There are those that are truly trending, that are going to be recruited by the top schools, and or specifically like, well, even on the women's side now, on the women's and men's side, that are homegrowns or signed early. But then the other side of the equation, and this is where I think it gets really interesting with programs like yours, in which there's the pathway, where the school is a means to an end, specifically because of the portal. And we weren't talking about Harris Stowe specifically with me and a friend. We're talking about JUCOs in general, and then NAIA and other smaller schools, because kids that maybe aren't getting that ACC offer or whatever, that are really good players, maybe struggling a little academically, or maybe they blew off their freshman, sophomore years in high school, right? And they just simply don't have the grades. They can't get into a Notre Dame, or they can't get into whatever. The strategy these days for players to take a more serious look at schools that are, quote, under their level, so that they go in and play, right? And they can come into a program like a Harris Stowe and get the minutes and start and compete and get film and prove, look, I'm a high-quality player, here's the minutes, with the whole intention of being to portal, right? That's a growing, population of players. Do you think about that? Do you see that? And do you welcome that, or is that not the culture that you're looking for?
I mean, that's a difficult question, right? Because we generally get transfers. We don't get people that are freshmen. Like, we're almost at their end game. Like, this is at the point that you're at. Like, you've transferred here because maybe the other things aren't available to you anymore, because they're getting picked up by higher end, colleges, universities. And you make a good point. When I think about when people ask me about club or high school, like, should my kid play club or high school? It's like, well, how good are they? They can be on a really good club team and not be seen, or they can be on a really bad high school team and be seen because you're the best player out there and you're getting all these stats. I see that with us as well, right? You can be a really quality player, come and get all the good stats, and you stand out. You will stand out, and people will see that. And you can go to them and transfer out, or talk to a semi-pro team and say, look at my stats. So, like, it's a good opportunity in both ways, right? So it's not really the end of some of our players' careers. Like, they can really stand out and go further from there. It's a really hard, difficult question just because there's so many nuances.
Do you have situations where it's the opposite, where, and I think you kind of alluded to this, but where you see kids that went for a roster spot at one of the shinier schools, realized, well, I'm not going to get time. I want to keep playing, and so I'm going to go and transfer into Harris Stowe because I might A, get playing time, but B, they have a major I want, or they have a program that I'm interested in. Like when you talk about the transfers that are coming in, are they coming in because of
They think that they're still great. So
okay. Yes, okay.
They don't get away that I should still be at my D1 program, and then unfortunately it didn't work out, so I'm here. They always have that mindset of I am that, which is good.
That's
I
good.
mean, you want that on
because
here.
you can use that as a coach, right?
Yeah.
To kind of help build them into the team and integrate them into the team as part of the leadership and things
Right.
like that. So that's
Well,
great.
yeah, let me ask how you manage the recruiting process with that reality plus what you're trying to do independent of that. Where are you focusing your time? Is it true freshmen? Is it going out to the portal? Is it is it inbound interest? Like, what's your recruiting process? What does it look like here in year 2? Where are you filling the bank from?
So, it's a challenge, right? And I'm still learning. So, I mean, I've been a part of the process for over 20 years, but there's always new things, new challenges, new things, like with the D1 and transfers, getting an extra year from community college. Like, things are changing, and it makes it difficult. But for me, it's really, I want a homegrown type of player here. I want to look for some St. Louis talent. I think we've gotten away from that. We do have a lot of transfers, and they're great. They're awesome. They've been around soccer, and they know soccer. But I really want – we're St. Louis, right? I want some St. Louis players.
Yep.
So for me, it's a little different. I want great team versus homegrown versus where they're going is a challenge.
Yeah.
So for me and where we're at, like the person, the quality matters there. Because, again, it goes back to what I'm looking for, which is giving the girls a good experience at college, knowing where we're at.
Well, let's talk a little brass tacks real quick, because I'm not up to speed on this. NCAA historically was 9.9, but with the new rules, there's 28 roster limit, and schools can determine by opting in how many scholarships they have, and it's all over the board. What's NAIA look like right now? How many scholarships do you have for a roster of? What's your roster limit?
I think it depends on the college, right? Like for the men's team, I think we had 40 players. I have 22 players. For each college, they have their own money, I think, that's given. I have I have an amount that I can distribute. So for me, it's not you have 10 full rides to give out. It's you have this amount that you can distribute amongst who you feel is best.
Yes, and so I think NAIA, if I understand correctly, doesn't put as many restrictions directly on the colleges. It kind of lets you guys determine based on your budgets, based on the money that's coming in or available, kind of how you want to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's maximums, right? You probably can't give everybody a full ride scholarship,
right?
So yeah.
I mean, it comes down to like NAIA. Like for us, we have. If you have a GPA of over 3.5 25 ACT, you can get a full ride just out of academic.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then a 3.5 GPA, we can get you full tuition. And then I can supplement that with my soccer. So, I mean, kids that are looking to go into, focusing on your GPA is so key. So all of these parents that are looking, skill-wise, that doesn't cut it normally. I mean, maybe for the big D1 programs that have that, but for the rest of these colleges, getting that education, getting that grade point average up is key.
See, I mean, that's going to be a massive. This will come up at our August 7th event, and because one of the schools that we have there, and I'm not going to name it. If you want to find out, you got to come. 3.75 or 3.75 or above.
Is it 3.8 or 3.75?
3.75 above, and I believe a 25 threshold on ACT automatically gets you over 35% of tuition. And again, the 4 schools are UMSL, WashU, SLU, and SIUE. So come guess which one gives away all that money. Recruiting. I want to stay on the recruiting side a little bit. You're going out there. You were just up in Minnesota?
Minneapolis, yeah.
Minneapolis. You were up there recruiting games, correct?
Yep.
What's your pitch? What do when you go out around the country now? Look, the soccer marketplace. I don't care where you're at. They all know St. Louis has good soccer.
Mm-hmm.
but the vast majority of people have no idea who Harris Stowe is.
Right.
So give me an idea of how you're selling the program relative to, you know, what the culture you're looking for, but then also given the fact that you're neighbors with SLU, and you know here we are in literally a mecca. What's that storyline look like?
I mean, I just talked to a girl. The last conversation I had before I left was, you know, what's the experience? I mean, we're downtown St. Louis. There's so many companies around to get your internships.
Mm-hmm.
I tell everybody, hey, we run by cities' practice fields. We watch them practice from a Fairfield, I think, is the hotel there. So we go back up on their where they
don't
park.
Don't go on the Drury parking lot rooftop because our beer cans are still there.
From 3 years ago.
But we watch their practices sometimes. And we take our run, we stretch there. So that's one thing, is like being involved. You know, having City have asked our players to be the ball boys, ball girls for games. We were just at the semifinal. They asked us to be out there.
Guatemala.
Yep. So they had our players be out there on the pitch watching the games, being the ball boys and ball girls. There's so much that we have to offer here in St. Louis that, as far as, you know, your education and getting your internships, there's no problem because there's so many businesses around.
Yeah.
But then I go back to like, okay, what about what we have to offer soccer-wise? Well, I won a championship. I don't think we've had a championship. I won a championship. That's important to me. But hearing like the culture of like bad experiences from other players, like they just go just because they get their tuition paid for, and they don't really look at what the coaching style is like or what makes them happy there. Like, to me, that's important. Again, going back to psychology background, like knowing the mental health side of it, I really care about that for my players, and that matters to them. And I think that was one of the main things when we had our board of coaches talking, that players really looked at, and the parents saw it as well. Like, I want my kid to go there because of that. Like, they care about my student athlete.
I'll tell you, as a parent who just went through the process, that was probably the number one thing that sealed the deal for us to go to Wilmington, because the way they looked at Grady as a person first, looked at us as a family second, and then looked at him as a player third. Now, obviously, we wouldn't be talking to him if he didn't make the player part first, but as far as the recruitment side of it, and it just made us feel more comfortable sending our kid away. And they even said when we talked to him, you know, after we committed, that they knew after the visit that this was a good fit because of the culture that we exuded with our family fit theirs. And they said, you know, right after Grady came, they had another kid that was a really good player, didn't fit, and they did not make an offer. You know, so I think what you're saying is so important. Two things to reiterate. One, keep your grades up. You've got to have good grades if you're going to play soccer in the United States as a college freshman. Two, don't be an ass. Like, I mean, and that goes, I would assume, Coach, on the pitch and off, you know, when you're meeting the staff and you're walking around campus, and, you know, I don't know what your visits look like, but I would imagine you get to meet them and their families, and you can kind of get a good idea of who they are. And as a former career counselor, I was one as well. You learn how to read people pretty quickly. So do you apply that kind of analysis on the field as well, like watching them off the ball and on the sidelines or pregame, or is it more, we'll see how this goes?
Well, yeah, when I go to these recruiting events, I mean, everybody can perform at certain aspects of the field, but what they do off the field when they don't think that people are looking matters. So whenever girls are getting subbed off or whenever players are getting subbed off, I'm watching that. I'm seeing them, how their actions are to the coach, to their other players. Are they giving them a high five? Are they hanging their heads low? You know, what is their action like off the pitch? Because that's going to tell me a lot about, you know, their practice style, their interactions with the staff, with the people in the university. Are they going to be a good fit for what we're trying to do here? So, I mean, that matters.
So let's close you out here with let's talk goalkeeper union. Let's talk Mr. Cashel. Just your guys' your hustle between the pipes.
Yeah.
Are you guys still putting together camps, opportunities?
So I think for the 4 years in a row, we've had this goalkeeper challenge here at Scott Gallagher, where we invite the whole club to say, "Hey, this is your opportunity to showcase yourselves." And it's not just a goalkeeper war where we just have the players throwing the ball at each other. We have like a long distance kick, like who can kick the ball the furthest, because that's a part of the goalie that you don't get to see. And this is something that, hey, I might have a long kick or a good throw that I can showcase and I can win an award for. So we have medals for these guys. So we have a passing throwing competition. So their distribution, they get an award for that, for being like first place. And I mean, Cashel's been great to work with. Like he's just so knowledgeable about this stuff, and he really cares about the families and the kids that are a part of it. That it just makes the event so special.
Is it open to when you guys open to any club or just Gallagher?
Right now, it's just Gallagher. Yeah.
Do you envision kind of a region-wide goalkeeper battle?
Ooh, I see what you're doing
cool.
there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You've planted seeds, and we've planted seeds on the show before that have grown
Everybody
into
steals
things.
my ideas, though.
Well,
Dave Ehrenberg in the Best 11.
Hey, listen, we got an email from Jim
Dave.
Hart giving you a ton of credit recently.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He gave you a lot of credit for some ideas that you had. Now, I think some of them are mine, but I'll defer them to you.
I will read the email, and I will beg to differ.
I mean, there's goalkeeper wars out there. I mean, that's great to have, but I hear they get like field players that can shoot the ball really well, so they end up winning the tournament. So, so what we have, what Cashel and I have developed is really like a mindset for the goalie and like just the different aspects about what being a goalie is, and it's just. And
so you're saying there's more to it than batshit crazy?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I had no idea. Were you
more depth than we were expecting there.
Jason, man, I appreciate you joining us. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
A weekday afternoon watching soccer. I've never seen a worse PK battle than
what we just
I'm
watched?
telling you, look, I guarantee most of you probably didn't see it in real time because you got day jobs. Sorry. Go on YouTube, watch Sweden, England PKs. Like, again, make your kids watch it. Don't do that. All right, Jason, Harris Stowe women's head coach. Congratulations on the role. Good luck with the upcoming season. You've only got, 2-3 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks, right around the corner.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks
guys.
for joining us, Zach.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, always.
You like coming down here too, though, man.
Listen, I don't need a lot of encouragement to come down here. That's for sure.
All right, people. Thank you for listening. Like I said, a couple PSAs. Number 1, August 7th, Soccer Park, 6 to 8, College Pathway Live. Number 2, drink ZWICO Light. Really, really good. Number 3 is Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime. Thank me later. And number 4, like, review, follow, share. We're out of here.
Later.
Soccer Dad Pod. See you.